Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. We know that there's been a lot of talk because of the moves the Indiana Fever made coming into this 2025 WNBA season. And I did a video not that long ago after some of the moves and all the shaking and rattling and rolling of free agency, trades, etc. I did a video about how this stacked team was going to make Caitlin Clark's role on the team easier, make it easier for the entire team. But I said in that video that we have to understand that there will be challenges as well. And I said I'd come with a video on that. Somebody put in the comments some time ago after that. Please do put those in the comments because I want to know what we can expect as far as challenges go. Hey, you come to the right place. We're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm probably not going to catch all of it. Some of you might have some ideas that I don't think to mention. So make sure that you get in the comments and share your perspectives as well. Now, I'm going to reiterate, I think that on paper, this team is absolutely amazing. But again, games are not played on paper. Games are played on the basketball court. And that's where some of the challenges come in. But first, let's take this thing in perspective at what a huge get the Indiana Fever got for 2025. The Fever posted this a few days ago. Certified buckets. We have the most players in the top 30 in scoring from last season. You can see it right here. 5 players in top 30 for scoring 2024 WNBA season with a minimum of 25 games played. So you got Caitlin Clark at 7 with 19.2, Kelsey Mitchell at 8, 19.2, Natasha Howard at 13 with 17.6, Dewana Bonner at 22 with 15 points per game, Aaliyah Boston at 14, and that's number 28. So again, the Fever has 5 players in top 30 for scoring. And this, what you're looking at right here in this image, this graphic, is what people are predicting, myself included, will be the starting 5. Caitlin at the point, Kelsey at the 2, Dewana at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5. I agree. I concur with those who feel like this will be the starting 5. And so in your starting 5, you have 5 players in the top 30 for 2024, going in now to 2025. Sounds like all good news. I believe it's good news, but I also know that it can be a challenge. So let's talk a little bit about what those challenges might be. Before we go further, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so. Hit the like button. Also, call your friends. Tell them Adrienne Ross Show is on the air. All right, let's go. One of the things that I've said throughout the years, I truly believe it's the truth, and that is it can be more difficult to coach an extremely talented team than it can be to coach teams that have not as talented. Now, which problem would I prefer? I prefer to have to figure out how to coach extremely talented teams. Everybody would. But some people think it's a given that because you have an incredibly talented team, as we just saw in even just those 5 players. Listen, I didn't even mention Lexi Hall, Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, and on and on and on. I didn't even mention those. I just mentioned those first 5 because they're likely to be the starting 5, and also because of that honor, the most players in the top 30 in scoring from last season. So just looking at that and then considering who you have coming off the bench, this is a team that should, on paper, be dominant in so many ways. Again, though, there are some challenges. So what are some of the challenges that will go down likely? First of all, I'm going to say this. The greatest challenge really is going to be for the coaching staff. These players are going to do what they've done to get to where they are. The accomplishments among them, the all-stars among them, the experience among them, all the playoff time among them, all the accolades, all of it among them. They're going to play basketball. The coaching staff has great experience also, and they're going to have the bulk of the responsibility to manage the talent in front of them. One of those challenges will be minutes. I know I feel good about the fact that I've heard it over and over again, so I know it's true. They have made it absolutely clear that there's a big three on this team. They made it clear first that it's Caitlin Clark's team. It's Caitlin Clark is the franchise player, and obviously the big three. And so they're not coming in here with a false idea of how many minutes they're going to get. However, many of the players that are on the team are used to a certain amount of minutes. And sometimes it can be easy to say, I'm fine with whatever it is. I just want to win. But then when you're itching to get in the game and you're not in the game, it can be a little bit more difficult, and character really has a way of showing, and you're going to have to receive your role, whatever that role is. And also when you have a lot of players who merit minutes, then, and maybe even more minutes than they're getting, that's where the coaching staff has to be able to put that thing together. How do I make substitutions? How do I manage minutes for the best productivity from the team? So there's that. That's a challenge. Also, they have changed roles. I just mentioned it, but they knew that coming in. They're not going to necessarily have the same role that they had on the other team. So they've got to be able, again, to say whatever role Stephanie White and the coaching staff would have me fulfill, then I'm for that. And the coaches have to figure some of that out. You take a DeWanna Bonner who can play multiple positions. So now you're talking about what's her role going to look like on the court with what lineup, etc. That's going to come with time. So the coaching staff will have to work all those things out. And the fans, who sometimes think they know better than the coaches, are likely not to like some things. Let me go back to minutes, because I should have said this already. Some people are not going to like it. Like DeWanna Bonner has perhaps her fans from Connecticut who will be watching. And of course, Indiana has the bulk of the fans in the WNBA. How you going to handle it when the player you think should have more minutes, you think Lexi Hall? I've seen the comments. Some people think Lexi Hall should be starting even with the people they brought in. I don't agree. I think she'd be a great spark off the bench. But I know there are people who feel like, well, she earned it. She deserved it. Basketball doesn't work like that, right? And of course, things can change. They'll see what happens when they start working out, when they get into the preseason, etc. And what I think would be the starting five, perhaps it wouldn't be the starting five. It'll all come together. But the fans cannot control the team. And so you need coaches. Like I said, a lot of this falls on coaches. You need coaches to be confident in what they're doing and not let other people, outside voices, dictate what's best for the team. Okay. So the roles are going to be different, and players have to be able to manage that, have to be able to deal with that, have to be able to swallow their pride in many ways. Also, like I said, it falls on the coaches, how they're going to make this thing come together. So it all is going to be, how are we going to coach a lot of these players? You got such a mix on this team. You've got younger players, Leah Boston, and she needs more coaching, even after being number one pick, even after being rookie of the year. We can watch her and see, okay, she needs some more coaching, which is why DeWanna Bonner says, I see so much in her, and she wants to help pull that out of her. And then Stephanie White and Keith Porter, etc., they're going to want to do the same. The coaches are going to have, and you can't coach everybody the same way. You know that. And Caitlin mentioned that she was given, I don't know if it was during the golf thing she was doing, but she commented on that as well. For a person like her, she can handle just tell it to me straight, just give it to me. And other players, you have to learn how to work with them. That's something that everybody knows who deals with people, whether you've coached. I know that from a teaching standpoint, you cannot deal with everyone. Parents know that every child is not the same. You love them equally, but you don't necessarily love them the same, if you know what I mean. And so that pressure is on the coaches to figure all those things out. And when you have people who come with such a resume as they have on this team, then you really have your work cut out for you to get it all together. But because they want to be here, because you were upfront with them from the beginning, that is huge. And as far as that goes. And then also for the whole team, one of the challenges is people are gunning for you, just as people are going to be gunning for New York, because New York obviously won the championship. So they have a target on their back. But know this, the Indiana Fever, even though they were at way down, coming into the 2024 season after having some horrible years, people were still gunning for them because of Caitlin Clark, because they wanted to prove Diana Taurasi right, that she was going to have these huge adjustments, etc. But even now, with the team they brought in, oh yeah, these teams will be gunning for them because they know the potential of this team. That's the team that everyone is getting up for. Everyone is going to get up for the Indiana Fever. So once again, that's the pressure for the coaches to make sure they're prepared, to make sure that they have this team that on paper should be dominant, to make that transfer over to the actual court. And there's a lot of chess that has to be played to make that happen, and working through it all right in the beginning. So it's going to be exciting, I believe. I can't wait to see what it looks like, because I cannot imagine yet what it looks like, except what the players are imagining that who have come in and said, I can't wait to catch Caitlin's passes. Like, everyone imagines that part, the passing, people now who can finish, but I can't quite get what it's going to look like, because their defense is going to be elevated, and then how that's going to transition to offense, what that's going to look like, I don't know. But I think it's going to be exciting. It should be exciting. But let us understand that if it's bumpy at any point, it doesn't mean that we should start saying, oh, they shouldn't have brought in Stephanie White. And Christy Size could have done better than this. Yeah, Caitlin, she's off the ball. So there's going to be some challenges along the way. We're excited, but there's going to be some challenges along the way. But like I said, I'd rather have that kind of challenge than the challenge of saying, where are we going to get 2 points from? Where? I'd rather have to figure out, who do I draw the play up for? Because I got 5 players on the floor who can get a bucket at any time. I'd rather have that problem, or quote unquote problem, the challenge of it all. But time is a ticking, y'all. Before we know it, it's going to be on, and we're going to have some answers to the questions we have. So what are your thoughts about everything I said? What am I missing? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? And again, what am I missing? Get in the comments. Listen, remember, be respectful in the comments. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.